my name is Lindy Sherries and I used to be a Sangoma. In this channel, I talk about everything, guys. Abokorobela, the secrets that we were taught not to share with you guys, how we used to trick you guys, the spirits, how everything works when you go to a Sangoma for consultation, yamatambo. So whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, please check out this channel so we can talk about it. If you believe in God, let's share the gospel. If you don't believe in God, you can check out the channel too. I want to hear your opinion and I want people to actually share their opinion, not insulting me without saying why. Thank you, and I'll see you on my channel.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. My name is Solomon Izanga Shams. It's so good to be with you. Thank you wherever you're watching from. Good to be back here again. Let me know where you're watching from and invite me into your city, into your country. I know you're watching from so many different places, so thank you. And please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel Solomon's Temple. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Solomon's Temple. Share the video, like the videos, please. And also make sure you comment. That's very important. I've been offering training to people who want to use YouTube effectively to be able to make money, to be able to become relevant, share the gospel, share whatever they have. So please get in touch with me on WhatsApp, number +2782 for a small fee. I take the time to coach and afterwards I mentor. There's so much we can do with YouTube. A lot of people are taking advantage of it. And I think even us as Christians, even us not just being Christians, but also being with the resources and the wisdom that God has given us, we need to be able to use it effectively. So whether you're a church or a minister of the gospel or business person, or just, look, I want to make money another different way, I would be able to help you, especially with content creation, to mentor you, because that is important to understand the way it works. That's what I'm talking about. That's very important. So please do get in touch with me. Thank you so much. Polelo is watching from Observatory in Cape Town. Wholesome, good to have you here. Good to have you here, my sister. Miriam, it's been a while. Awesome to have you here. And also Amelia from Carrollton, Georgia in the USA, and so many other people watching. Awesome. So quickly want to talk about a fight that's been going on. It seems like, the Apostle Michael Orokpo made a comment about music ministers and their pursuit of money, charging money. So he has his own idea. If you started and you were not charging money, why you want to charge now? Okay, it makes sense from that perspective. But then you have the other school of thought, and in this video, he didn't just deal with music ministers. He dealt basically with a lot of things that are wrong with the church. He dealt with prophets, spoke about prophets and all that kind of thing. But that is for another day. But what he tried to deal with here basically is he tried to deal with the fact that musicians are charging money, right? And this is what he said. I'm gonna play it for you because it seems like Victoria Orenze didn't really sit down well with her. So she came back and she came on and said what she had to say, and actually said more, because she was also talking about the church, some of the things that pastors do. So how do we come to a place where what's the best way? Anyway, not the question for now, but maybe the question for later. But let me play you his video so you can...
Wrong. You were not doing it when you started. Why must you...
Start from the beginning.
That's why when a music minister wants to go for a meeting, is charging money, it's wrong. You were not doing it when you started. Why must you do it now? Because you feel there's a justification. You are putting money on divine realities. When did you stop trusting in God and now trusting in your analysis? God started raising you as a music minister, but suddenly you discover that there's a lot of fame now. So there are many things you can do and you corrupt it. And so there are many of us, although we pass passed the test of God's leading, but we corrupted it by going the way of unrighteousness. Now, you know, when we are talking about this money thing with music minister, it's not only those who sing, even those who preach.
All right, so let me start it from the beginning again.
That's why when a music minister wants to go for a meeting, is charging money, is wrong. You were not doing it when you started. Why must you do it now? Because you feel there's a justification. You are putting money on divine realities. When did you stop trusting in God and now trusting in your analysis? God started raising you as a music minister, but suddenly you discover that there's a lot of fame now. So there are many things you can do, and you corrupt it. And so there are many of us, although we passed the test of God's leading, but we corrupted it by going the way of unrighteousness. Now,
So that's what he has to say. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Whilst you're thinking about that, let me play you what Victoria Orenze had to say. Obviously, this happened after all of this.
Charging people, not charging ministers, having stupid conversations that shouldn't even be. That some people charge this amount, some people charge that amount. Well, some of the people that charge the amount, you invite them. Why did you invite them? Why? I'm asked, this is to the church now. Let me first leave the people invited. They are charging 10 million, 30 million, 40 million. Why did you invite them? When you answer that honest question, you give them their money without talking. You know why? Because you know you want them to come, bring something. It might not be spirits. It might be small spirits and small. Oh yeah. But because they have something, you are using it to build your, is it PR they call it? Is that it? That's why, you see, the church, we don't like the truth. That's why those church, then you will not finish inviting them and now say they are charging. Did they put a gun to your neck? I ask you, did they put a gun to your neck? Pay them their money.
All right, so that's Victoria Orenze there. Answering to what Michael Orokpo actually had to say. What do you think about all of this? Where should we draw the line when it comes to music ministers charging? Should they just depend on a honorarium and say, look, whatever you have for me is fine? Or should they really charge something modest? Or should they charge 30 million naira, 40 million naira? Because they reckon it, especially in Nigeria, where there's a lot of churches. Churches have become a lot more entertainment. So you have to bring in music and bring in all these popular musicians. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? She's throwing me back at the church, at the ministers, at the apostles and the prophets and the pastors who invites them. Where should we draw the line? I believe there's a place in each and every one of us in our hearts when we know that this whole thing as a music minister is becoming more about money than anything. You know it in your heart when the main motivation becomes money. And it's not wrong, but when it becomes money and then it is interfering with what God has called you to do. So also for pastors and apostles and prophets, you know when you are inviting a music minister, just because you want to raise money, right? Hear me now. Raise money. You want to draw people into your church. You're using the music minister as a marketing tool. You know it. In your hearts of hearts, you know it. And for me, that is where the problem comes in. If you're charging 30 million naira, Nigerian naira, well, that's between you and God. Is that what God told you to charge? You're gifted. He gifted you. But you also have to be sensitive to what God is saying. Because money could become the main objective, and the focus will move from really the goal and the gift and the mandate that God has given you to move to money. Whether you are a music minister, whether you are a prophet or a pastor or whatever. So in the nutshell, what Victoria Orenze is actually saying is like, hey, you are using us, so why don't we use you too? The prophets are using the music ministers. Why should you blame the music ministers when they're using the prophets also? The apostles and the bishops are using the music ministers. Why should you blame us? You invite us, people see us on your promo videos, on your posters, we're coming. Obviously, you're gonna get people who've never been to your church that will come. Or we're gonna come and people are gonna give big offering because we're there. So why do you want to dictate to us what to charge or not what to charge? I think we need a very deep introspection, very, very deep introspection, and ask ourselves, because the church is becoming so corrupted and polluted that has become the order of the day. I know a lot of music ministers where they fight for money. I know prophets who will be invited to a church, they will raise the offering and insist and tell the host pastor, the host church, that that offering they raise is for them. They're taking it with them, and there will be a fight. That's a sad state of things, guys. So please, may we continue to pray for the church. Thank you, Chris Lasala. Thank you so much, Chris Lasala, for believing in what I do. And thank you for the donation of $100. I really appreciate it. You know, people do support what I do. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of resources for me to be able to put this together. But one thing I would never change is never change the truth. So thank you so much for everyone who's been supportive through super stickers and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it, Chris. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much, guys. May we continue to pray for the church, and may we continue to, may our words, our deeds purify the church. The church is a place of righteousness. And we know that money has destroyed the church a lot, especially in Africa. Money has destroyed the church. The love of money, the Bible says, it is the root of all evil. The love of money. And unfortunately, a lot of these music ministers or prophet or pastors, they love money. The love of money has overwhelmed them already. They don't just want to accept it, because they still want us to think like they're still walking on the path that God had intended for them 20 years ago. Despite living in a big house, having expensive cars and traveling around the world and all that, the glory has departed. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.